now who may be joining us live and may be joining us even in the after effect. Oh, let me straighten that out just a little bit. Okay. I do not have a blanket. Yes, I do. Okay, if you have a blanket, grab one. Nice to sit on, and not as a crutch, but really more as a comfort and an assistant so that we can get our backs more vertical and the spine to actually stack in a way that's serving versus when we're sitting at our desk, most times our choice is probably more slumped. So we're gonna, another prop I really love to have nearby is a block, maybe two. And today when we do our assisted or our supported shoulder stand, we really use a block. If you have something similar, you could even use the bolster or the blanket. That's great. There's no need to, feel like because you don't have a block, you can't do it. We'll just make do with whatever is available, like our ancestors do with what's available. So start really tall, lifted, and just breathe. Get into the body, get into this rhythm, this system of being present to what is. And there's no better way to do that than just simply drop in to the breath and notice the feeling. What does it feel like in your shoulders, your neck, your arms, your hips, your legs? And just observe. Maybe there's some stiffness, maybe there's some stuck areas. As the observer, you get to breathe into those areas and create more support. So the name of the game today is, let's be supportive of where we want to go. So set that intention, interlace the fingers here, place the hands to the heart, open palmed, with the thumbs extended in Vajra Pradama. This is unshakable trust mudra. Breathe in. We're setting that intention. Where can I find support? Who can support me today? How can I support others? All those inquiries bring up a chance for us to answer the questions. It serves the universe to inquire about where we want to go, so the universe can provide a pathway or something that we can see clearly. This is the support I need today. And on our mat, the support might come in the way of the breath. That support might come in the way of toning down a posture. That support might come in the way of amping up a posture to make it more challenging. It also might come in the way of a blanket or a bolster or a block. So notice all the ways that are possible to bring in more support. Wide, expand beyond the heart into the hands, the thought, the feeling into the action. And then cross the arms in front, exhaling. Inhale, open. Exhale, crossing in front. Inhale, open. Really nice fluid motion. Spine, a cat-cow, if you will. One more time. And then exhale to the front. Inhale, pull the breath towards the heart. And then exhale through the mouth. Push away. Inhale and exhale through the nose, through the mouth, and we'll speed it up. 6 more, 5 more, 4, 3, last one. Bring the fingers together, interlacing. Inhale and pull the palms to the ceiling. Hold the breath in. engage your mula bandha or the pelvic floor. Let's give some support there for the navel, the belly, the low back supported by the pulling up and drawing that energy all the way up through the spine, through the crown of the head. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. So we're holding that for a bit of time, 10 to 20 seconds. If you need to breathe sooner, do so. If you have hypertension, don't hold your breath, or if you're pregnant. Okay, so we'll draw the breath in again. Exhale through the mouth for a second set of 12, 10, 9. Last one, bring it in. Breath, pulling the arms overhead, hold long bodies, side bodies, opening up. Starting at the pelvic floor, lift that energy all the way through the crown of the head. And exhale, release. The third set, 12 times. Exhale. Here we go. Four more. 3, 2, last one. Bring it in. Inhale, arms overhead and hold, Mula Bandha. And exhale, release if you haven't already, and bring the hands. Let's shake the arms out, the hands, and give a little here. We'll take this up and over to the side with the arm in the side plane. I think that's called the frontal plane. Exhale over to the left. Inhale here, and then we're going to embellish the movement, circling the arm. So we're taking it out of the side plane and like bringing it into a full circle motion, side to side. Action of the torso is pretty much the same. I like to call this an embellishment. It's like we're putting diamonds on our purse. It's an embellishment. It's something to feel into. Inhale and exhale, plant a hand. We'll go to the right and to the left. Let's go one more time, each side. And a lot of movement here, and then take it in a spin. The right and in forward, exhale back, spinning to the left. Inhale and exhale. No holds, so this might feel a little bit different. Just movement. Inhale, I'm almost swinging the arms, I'm spinning. And I get this really nice release for the low back and a twist in the spine and awakening through the spine. One last time. And then circumduction, so you bring the hands to the knees and circle the torso over the pelvic bowl. Let's go the other direction. If we just wake up in bed and do that much for the day, our spine, our breath, the movement, we're going to feel pretty good. But we're actually going to take it to another level. So take the legs out, shake here, maybe windshield wipe the feet, and take a big motion through the ankle. We get some joint mobility. I don't know about you, but when I'm in that cross-legged position, my ankles and my knees tend to fall asleep and I get really tight. So let's go the other direction. This just loosens it up. Feels so much better. I'm really grateful for that. And then we're going to cross the legs and just come into a downward facing dog. The hands plant, the feet extended, the heels to the mat, and you can pedal here. Maybe take a pressing of the right heel as you bend your left knee. And then switch sides as you inhale. Exhale, pause. Inhale, switch, exhale, pause. Inhale, switch, exhale, pause. One more time. It just makes my whole body yawn, including my face. And then switch both heels pressing to the floor. We're in our first real strong downward dog. We're gonna glide into the top of a push-up. So we start opening up the shoulders here and warming up that girdle. Exhale back to downward dog. Inhale again forward into that plank position. Exhale, push the floor away, strong fingers, downward dog, and then we're gonna speed it up. The inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Here we go. 10, exhale, inhale, exhale. 6 more, inhale, exhale. Take it at your own pace. I'm going pretty brisk. 4, 3, 2, and last one, hold the downward facing dog. Take a full breath here, inhaling and exhaling. Shift the hips side to side. And then inhale, bring the knees to the floor. And extend the right leg straight back. So in this steady motion, we're going to articulate through the toes. You're pressing through the heel in a strong calf stretch, and then articulating through the toes, the metatarsals to wake up the whole foot to a pointed, so flex and point. We're going to sweep the right leg out to the right. So if we're on a clock, it's about 3 o'clock, press the hips back. Oh, and then we open up the interior of the leg. So the possibility here is very great that you have a lot of information happening or sensation there. Let's come back to hands and knees and then circle, half circle around to your left side, and you'll look over at the toe. Exhale, hold. Inhale, circle back. Exhale, press the hips back. Inhale, circle to the left, look over your shoulder, exhale, pause. Inhale, circle to the right, hips to the heels, exhale, pause. Inhale, circle, leg goes over to the left, exhale, pause. Let's go one more time. Exhale, circle, set here. And then bring the hips all the way back with the right foot extended back out. We're going to take a little more time to open that interior chain of the leg. Breathe in and breathe out. Your whole low back is starting to open up as well. And come back to center. Keeping the leg extended. Let's twist to the left. And then thread your left arm towards your right ankle. Yes, so you're laying on the side of the head, above the ear, and you're laying on the shoulder with a lot of pressure all the way out to the fingertips. Right hand is supportive. Where can I find support? Supporting the neck comes from the right hand. Supporting the twist comes from pushing into the floor with your right foot. And your shoulder lends some support in the twist. A lot of supporting elements here. Let's come back to center, rolling out gently. Sweep the right leg in, and we'll take the second side. Left leg extends out. Press through the heel and the toes, pressing back and forward. Metatarsals, the joint. Then we'll sweep the left leg out to the side, the hips back to the heel. And we can see how stiff this side is. Let's come back to center, circle the leg around to your right. You're going to pause as you exhale, looking over the right shoulder. Inhale, sweep to the left. Exhale, take the hips back. Inhale, sweep to the right. Exhale, pause. Inhale, sweep to the left. Where's the supporting partners here in this pose? As you inhale, If we're allowing the ribs to relax, they're not really supporting the low back. So the ribs are pulled in, the tummy is firm, and we exhale, press back. Let's go one more time with the circle to the right. And then exhale, take the hips back and hold. So just pause, and we're starting to open up that inner channel. It feels better. Get more actively pressing down through the left foot. Inhale, come back to center, right arm extends. Exhale, thread the right hand all the way through and towards the left ankle. You're coming down on the side of the shoulder, and find those support pieces that really help lend the deeper stretch across the upper back and the neck and the shoulder. 2 more breaths here. And then we'll come out gently, same way you came in. A lot of support from the standing fingers. And pull the left foot in to meet your right. Turn the toes under. Let's take a downward facing dog. Oh, that feels better than our first one, at least for me. Bring your feet a little wider. Let's walk your hands back. I'm on the tips of the fingers. And when I get to the back end of the mat, not all the way to the feet, you can see my hips are over the heels. I'm going to bend the knees a little bit and then hinge the hips behind the heels. My hands don't move, so they're reaching forward even more, and the hips are reaching back. And this really just helps open up the posterior chain. Make sure your knees are in line with your toes. Yeah, it also opens the lungs. And apparently I have some stuff in there from the night. I haven't been talking yet really fully this morning, even though I've been up for a couple hours. Let's come back to center here with the hips over the heels. And then bend your knees and bring the elbows to the knees. So your head now is the heart. And in our class today with inversions, the definition of inversion is head below the heart. So we just came from an inversion. When you think about it, we're doing inversions all class long. It will be specific about the inversions we're going to introduce today. So elbows to the knees, head above the heart now. So we're actually upright. Hands to the knees. And then we're going to take a cow stance through the low back. Inhale, coming up. And then take a cat stance or extension through the spine as you lower back down. Let's do that twice more. Inhale into flexion and exhale into extension. And just a float sensation here. One more. All the way back down. And then come to a standing. Again, that float sensation coming all the way up to standing. Bring the feet together and the arms at your side. For standing in Tadasana, let's just get strong and stable. Anchoring down through the 4 corners of the feet, the knees, kneecaps lifted by the quads. And we're holding steady. Bring the arms overhead. Inhale, Utthita Tadasana. So you want to feel the length through the side body, the stamina, the strength through the legs. And then the possibility here of having the fluidity, the flexibility in the upper torso. So we're going to sweep to the right here. Inhale, back to center. Holding the opposite wrist. Let's take it up and over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Firm belly. Again to the right. And back to center again. Firm belly. Over to the left. And then come back to center and bring your arms to your side. I want to do that again with the activity initiated through the obliques. So we're going to really work the crosshatch muscles that reside on the side, as well as the transverse obliques. So we'll do this by bringing the arms overhead and then shifting the hips to the left. So let's let your hips have a pendulum swing. Your arms just follow. So you're initiating the movement here now with the hips. Pull in through the low belly. You want to keep that strong. And now lift the whole torso with the use of your sides. So instead of just lifting the arms, we're going to lift and contract more fully and completely through the oblique. Keep it contracted as it pulls the hips in the other direction. And we follow suit with that upper Indudalasana movement through the upper torso. Again, contract right obliques, keep going until we're curved up and over to the right. Contract left obliques and continue that contraction until we're curved to the left. In this way, we'll do it several more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. The action is initiated through the hip. And that's making my upper torso really swing. My upper torso is, I'm not swinging with my arms. It's all happening here. And this is where we want the energy when we're upside down. Let's come back to center. Release the arms to your side. Take 2 giant steps forward so you're at the top of your mat. We'll do some Sun Salutations. Oh, wow, that really got me. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step the right leg to the back edge and bring the knee gently to the floor. We're going to do a little hip opener here by lifting, shifting the hips back and forward. This is our Sun Salutation with some embellishments again. Embellishments are my favorite. Inhale and exhale. You can get really mobile in the hip. Motion is the lotion here. You're going to really feel like you have some freedom to move in a way that feels good to you. And then we'll pause here with the bent knee coming forward. Press down through the front heel and then really strong lift pelvic floor. And the arms are going to come overhead and we'll hold for 3, 2, and this is the challenge, right? To hold steady and strong and supportive. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to the top of a push-up here. Shoulders over the wrists, and then bring the knees to the floor and the chest and the chin. So the chest, aim for the line between your thumbs if they connected. Mid-chest aims for that line. The chin lifts and the hips are up. There's a big ski slope here. Inchworm your way into low cobra. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Raise the right leg. Inhale, step all the way through to the top of your mat with the right leg and lower the hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So we're going to keep the back knee off the ground. We're finishing out this one set. So inhale and exhale, a different movement. We're opening up or the hamstring here. Last time, step forward, inhale to a half lift, tabletop, exhale, drop in and down. Inhale all the way to standing, arms extended and palms to the heart as you exhale. And we'll take that on the second side. Inhale, reaching, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, this time the left leg steps back. And we bring the knee to the floor. And now we're working a runner's stretch in and out to a low lunge on the right side. Inhale forward, exhale, press back. Or if your breath is going, inhale back and exhale forward, just keep it steady. It's really not going to matter which one is initiating which movement, but that you're breathing steadily. Hold the bend in the front knee. Inhale, sweep the arms around. Hold the exhale for 3 breaths here. That strong sensation of a half moon shape. Holding steady. Mula Bandha, where do you find the support? Again, it's not supportive to relax in this posture. There's got to be some strength and stamina that comes out of this. Exhale. Plant the hands, step all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale to a top of a push-up. We'll bring the knees, chest and chin to the floor again. Ashtangasana. Inhale, low cobra. Or maybe a little higher. I like to sway it. Exhale, downward facing dog, and the left leg now lifting to the sky. Inhale. We're going to step through to finish off the sequence, lowering the hips, keeping the back thigh elevated. So that's the strong part, the supportive part here. Inhale, press through the front leg and straighten it, the front ball of the foot, and straighten the leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. So kind of a push-pull action on the foot, on the part of the foot. We're pushing to straighten and we're pulling back. So the shin comes forward and that creates a bend in the knee. One more time. Hold here, push off with your back foot, step forward. Inhale, rising to a tabletop. Exhale, lowering to a full forward fold. Inhale, let's come all the way to standing. The arms coming up overhead, and exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Let's do a little shoulder roll here and then step out. So you're at the side of your mat. We'll take a deep bend in the knees, the feet facing outward. So they're turned out. Utkatada Konasana. Utkatada Konasana. Utkatada Konasana. There we go. Or goddess pose. Now I'm holding the knees and giving a little side to side action here. I'm going to drop the right shoulder forward. You're pressing the right hand inside the right knee to lengthen and also create a little twist. Ooh, it should feel really good. There's spaces and places and muscles and fascia that don't naturally get that stretch. Let's switch to the other side. Really getting into those areas. Oh, that should just feel really, really good and solid. And come back to center here, pressing down through the heel. You're going to release the hands from the knees. So now the support has to come from the legs, and your thighs are going to burn just a little bit. Stay with me here. We're lifting the right heel and then lower. Lift the left heel and we'll come back to the right and lower and lower. Now both heels raising up. Both heels lowering down, raising up on the inhale, lower the heels, lower the hips, pause very strong. One more time, we're gonna raise the heels, lower the hips, pause. Then we're gonna keep the heels lifted and straighten the legs. So you're squeezing the inner thighs, pushing the floor away, bring the arms high into a V, and then exhale, lower the heels to the mat. We end up in Tarasana or star pose. Take a big breath in, turn the toes in, breath out, touch the fingers together in Hakini Mudra. A little bend in the knees, stick the hips way back. We're going to do that hinge again, that Prasarita Hinge this time. So the feet are a little bit wider. And remember, the hands are moving forward as the hips are moving back. We're kind of splitting the space. If I had a line here from ankle to ankle, my hands are on one side and my hips are on the other in equal portion, possibly. Maybe the hips aren't quite as far back as the arms are forward, but you get the idea. One more breath. And then bring it back to center. Walk the hands over to the right leg, left arm slips through, and then bend the elbows so they're moving away from each other, and we take Vakrtunda or twisting trunk. Elegantly and softly that twist happens. Come back to center, walk over to the left foot, right hand slips through. We'll do the same thing here. Not forcing, but coaxing rather. Breathing into the twist.
Relax the neck. So if you feel tension here or tightness in the neck, just a reminder to relax that a little more. And then come back to center. We'll walk over to the right foot, turning the toes out, bend the knee, and come into a deep lunge. I'm going to ask if you could look at your heel, and if it's up, the possibility is that we're moving forward into the knee. So let's bring the shin more perpendicular to the floor and take the weight back so the heel can actually remain anchored. So that's your support system. It means your hips might be a little higher, your elbow might be on the knee. That's fine. Let's do it. Let's come to the other side. You can even start with the elbow on the knee. Flex the toes of the opposite foot. Bring a supportive hand underneath, and then you can lower even more until the leg, the inner thigh, gets enough strength to hold that, right? So it may require some support, a little support. It's perfectly legit. Let's go to the first side again and see if we've managed to strengthen some. And we'll try it a second time. And come back to center, over to the left. This is a little bit easier one for me to do. And back to center, all the way over to your right. You're going to face the front of the mat. Step your right foot back to meet the left. In my case, left foot back to meet the right. Let's bring your knees to the floor. And place your thumbs so they are touching each other. And my apologies, my hair does not, I don't have a hairband today. Normally I would have one. So I'll just keep trying to look at you through my hair. Really apologize for that. The thumbs touching, your heart melting, shoulders broadening, and you're gonna sweep the elbows underneath you. And we're gonna come into the forearms, or what we would call a dolphin prep. Not going into dolphin yet. Keep the thumbs together and then press back up. Just take that push up a couple times. We're really aiming to gain some skill in the upper back muscles, some strength and stamina. So it's going to be helpful to keep the low belly pulled in. My ribs, notice they're not sagging. They're pulled up and in. And then I'm drawing the shoulders away from the ears and a little broader. And as I bend the elbows, that becomes more important, that the back is supporting and not taking a secondary role. It's actually, it's the supporting role. It's the star of the show here. And lower. Notice the back of the arms. Everything is posterior working, not what we're used to, which is the anterior. We're really used to using the pecs. When you come into an inversion, the most important of that part of that inversion is getting support from your back. This is your community. I got your back. I'm supporting you. I'm here for you. Without that, it's very fearful. So we're developing the structure that would support a full headstand. And that's just by practicing this up and down movement, so to speak. It's a push-up. Now try it with the toes, turn under, and we're in a full down dog, touching the thumbs. Then we come into dolphin. Now that puts more weight on the elbows, on the arms, on the tricep, on the back. But if you can graduate to this, okay, and just promote more strength, you can try it once or twice. If that's a little much happening, bring the knees back and just practice this part, okay? And everybody, let's come down onto your forearms, separate the thumbs slightly, and take a regular dolphin pose. Notice the shoulders are behind the elbows. And we're going to inhale and bring the shoulders in front of the elbows, just to see what kind of mobility we have. Exhale behind the shoulder. Inhale in front of. Exhale behind. So inhale, keep a steady energy from the tips of the fingers to your elbow. Push into forearms and take it back. Inhale forward. Exhale back, and then release the knees back to the earth. Take a little break. It's a lot for the arms to be incorporating right now. And let's come to a seated pose with the toes turned under. So you're sitting, the feet flipped under, screaming toe, for as long as it's comfortable or uncomfortable for you. Let's interlace the fingers, and I'll show you what an upside right headstand looks like, and then we'll take it upside down. The supported headstand is a horseshoe shape. The pads of the thumb come behind the head, and I don't know how many of you have this in your practice or not, so I'm just breaking it down for you very quickly. Pads of the thumbs against the bulky part of the head back here, and then I'm pressing the head into the pads of the thumbs. I'm going to pull the ribs in and stand a little taller and lengthen the neck and keep my chin neutral. It's not tucked in. So when I come upside down, I'm not on the crown of the head, I'm forward from it by about 2 finger widths. So keeping the chin in a neutral position, my gaze forward will help facilitate that. My elbows are as wide as my shoulders, not wider than. Some of you are going to be more comfortable here. I want you to pull the elbows in and draw the arm bone back into the shoulder socket this direction. Okay. And then let's hold it for one more breath. And then release. And we'll take it to the floor and see how this works. Okay? So interlacing the fingers, making a horseshoe shape. I'm tucking the pinky finger under so it's flush to the floor. Both pinky fingers are flush. Elbows are shoulder width. If you're not sure, grab the elbows here and make sure that you can hold the elbow. If you're too wide, you'll be on the forearm. Okay, that's just right. Bring the back of the head to the pads of the thumbs here. There we go. And then I'm just lightly touching the top of the head, not the crown, I'm in front of it. And then I want to make sure I've got a lot of control. So I'm going to bring the head in. So my shoulders, you can see, are over the forearms. And then I'm going to push the shoulders behind the forearms. So I lift the head. My forearms have complete control here. So I can decide how much weight I put on the head. And once you're there, we're just going to lift one leg. That's it. That's it. That's it. Now lift the head. See if you can get a little space between the head and the mat by pushing the forearms really strong. Lower the right leg and then bring the left leg. And of course, if headstand is in your practice, then you're going to bring it all the way up. And I'm not kicking up. I'm extending up. My bottom leg just floats upward, still keeping the head somewhat off the earth, okay, and supported by the forearms. So the head is very supported by the forearms. And come into that full, complete upside down perspective. Just keep breathing and see your whole space from a new perspective. Bring the left leg down, knees back down. Release the head. Make a double fist and rest your forehead in a child's pose on the fist. So we're in child's pose, resting the forehead on the fist. Really helpful in your practice of yoga to get to the point where you can hold a headstand for a minute. And if you'd gone straight in, that would have been probably a little over a minute, because I did a lot of talking and explaining. But more power to you if you were able to do that. And more power to you if you're able to go to the point
of safe support for you. The building of the strength, that's what's important here. It's not that we get the feet in the air, but that we are moving towards the strengthening and becoming and growing into the space of a headstand, right? Everybody did inversion, head was below the heart. That's perfect. Let's bring it into a downward facing dog. Another inversion is a handstand. So again, we're going to come forward and back. The shoulders now have to be over the wrist. And in addition to the shoulders coming over the wrist, the hips need to come over the wrist or over the shoulders. So as I move forward here, I'm going to pause. I'm going to step the right foot to the mid-mat and then slice the left leg upward. And that's the momentum I need to get the hips to come over the shoulders. So I'm just going to do a swing and spring here. So swing and spring. I'm swinging with the left foot and springing with the right. Swing and spring. Swing and spring. 3 times. And pause. Take inventory. That really taxes me in so many different directions and ways. And then we'll spring and swing on the other foot. So the left foot comes forward. This might be your non-dominant foot, depends on if you're left or right-footed. And we'll swing with the right. This is my non-dominant, so it might feel a little awkward. For me, it does just a teeny bit, but I've been practicing quite a bit. So we spring and swing. Now the right leg coming up, and we catch the left foot as it springs, and then it catches. Springs and catches. Good, and then come back into a downward facing dog. Come into a top of a push-up. Open to Vasisthasana, turning the hips. Toes to one side and the right arm raising up. Press through the fingered pads. Strong support of the arm and curl the shoulder blade onto the back. So the heart is slightly opening to the sky. One more breath. Very supportive for the asymmetry here, helps support building and strengthening and lengthening one side of the back and then the other. So if you have a spine that's off, this can be very useful. We'll go to the other side. Right hand pressing down and supporting, the left arm reaching up. 3, 2, let the head and neck be very gentle, not kinked. 1, hands to the mat, press all the way back, bend the knees and jump forward, feet to hands, inhale, half lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's come all the way to standing, palms together, and then bring the hands to your heart. So we'll do a 1-minute mobility challenge with some balance. Actually, it might be 2 minutes each side, coming out of those inversions. Inhale, let's reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Just follow along. This is a flow. Inhale, step the right leg back. Spin the heel to the floor and bring your forearm to the thigh, reaching the right arm overhead here. So the right arm's going to reach up, and we're going to sweep it all the way around. So it comes forward again, big circle, and then reverse the circle all the way up and over. One more time. Continue that circle into a warrior 2. So we'll lift ourselves up and then mandala over to a reverse warrior action. The front leg is still bent. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, over to side angle. Inhale, center. And we'll take that same arm circle motion that we did at the beginning of class and embellish the movement. So we're reverse action, reverse warrior to side angle. And the only difference is The arm embellishment. Let's go one more. Plant the right hand to the thigh. Lift the left arm over. Now straighten the left leg. Inhale through center and come into triangle shape. Triangle pose. That feels awesome. We've already really opened up the posterior chain, the hamstrings. We can go deeper in this posture because it's not unencumbered. That's what I want to say. Place your right hand on the hip. Shift the weight forward and come into Ardha Chandrasana. It's a half moon. This is our balance challenge for the day. Lifting the bottom fingers off the ground. If you'd like. That takes me out of the pose, so come right back in whenever that happens. And then we'll bring the top arm to meet the floor. Bring your right hip to meet the left, so it's going to close in and square up here. We'll bring the forehead gently in towards the shin as we raise the heel a little higher into a full standing split. Holding 2, holding 1, and giant step back into a low lunge, and we'll solve it. So raising the left arm and give a big circle in the shoulder, mandala, the arm coming all the way around. Plant the hands, step all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale to a high plank. And here we're going to revisit that awkward Ashtangasana. Knees, chest, and chin to the earth. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back to downward dog. Right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Oh, and then step all the way through. Into warrior 3. Shift the weight, right leg extends. Hands can be supported on the ground or supported with a block or a chair. If you'd like, you can move this into more challenging posture by lifting the belly, lifting the arms, or even extending the arms forward. That's already 3 breaths, and then we're going to lift all the way to standing and exhale, hands to the heart. So that was maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You ready? Second side, a minute's floor time. Inhale, reach up. Let's do it. Exhale, forward fold. Step the left leg back this time. Spin the heel, come into side angle. Circle the right arm up and over. And circle it back and under. And then over again. One more time. Under. Keep the momentum and lift into warrior 2. Reverse the action. Left arm down, right arm comes up. And then back into side angle with a little embellishment here. So we'll go back and forth, side angle, into reverse warrior. And if you really just want to keep this straight, that's fine too. Either way, I like the embellishment. Let's go one more time. And then reverse it, hold it, straighten the front leg, that feels good. And then come into triangle pose. We've already nourished and nurtured the whole back side of the leg. So this could possibly feel like 100% better than the first of class. Let's bring your left hand to the waist, bend your front knee, and go on a little adventure with our balance into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So you're lifting the left leg and possibly challenging yourself for that balance, lifting the right arm, if you like. Let's bring both hands to the floor, square the hips up. Lift the left heel very strongly to the sky and bend forward for the forehead towards the shin. So we're coming into the second side standing split. Giant step back, lowering the left foot to the floor, and then raising the right arm in a simple twisting low lunge. And let's rotate through the shoulder. Once, twice, and then 3 times. Plant the hand, step all the way back. We're nearing the end here. Glide into the top of a push-up. Thanks for staying all the way through. Chest and chin to the earth. Inhale. Low cobra. We're building a lot of strength, support, and stamina today. Downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Inhale. Bend the knee, open through that hip. Then step forward. Coming into a warrior 3, it's the simple shift of the weight to the left leg. Right leg elevates, not the hip, just the leg. So keep your toes facing the floor. Lay the groundwork of a steady hip and pull through up through the belly so you're supporting the low back. Soft bend in the knee and then bring the arms in jet airplane. They can remain here or extend forward if you really want that extra challenge. You can hold a wall or steady yourself, and then inhale, come all the way up to a tall stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Breathe. So that's a lot of energy expenditure at the very end of class. You needed really well to keep up. Inhale, let's bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands and just let your hips come down to a seated posture. So root the sit bones into the earth. Bend the knees slightly and bring your elbows to the floor. We'll turn the hands or the forearms just slightly out so we can open and broaden across the chest. The clavicle feels open. Then tone the navel. You're going to tone the belly, the low belly, lifting right heel off the ground and then left. Really strong tone, keeping the abs active. And if you like, you can extend the legs, possibly keeping the knees bent if you start feeling it in your low back. So this is a perfectly legit way to work the abs. This also connects the abs. It's a much stronger sensation. So you get to choose where you want to be here. It's already 5 breaths, so we're going to sweep the legs over to the left. They're really kind of high-centered now on the left butt cheek, basically. Remain here. Again, the opportunity is to keep the knees at a level that increases the strengthening of your core without involving the low back. And then if you'd like, you can extend the arm. Let's bring the feet around back to center without a break. Swivel over to the right. I'm just going to get this done in one shot. Breathing, just 5 deep breaths. You can do it. We can do anything for less than a minute, really less than a minute. You're pulling the shins towards the forehead towards the shin. And one more breath. Anchor the forearm, bring the legs back to center. And then indeed bring the knees in, the feet to the earth, and lower down to your back. Oh. Now we get that breath where we're after, that full belly breath. You can take it. If you have a block, let's keep it handy. I'll set mine just right to the side here. Let's bring the hips off the earth. So we're coming into bridge. Rotate the shoulder blades underneath you. In a shoulder stand, it's a shoulder stand. It's not a cervical spine stand. So we want to pay attention to our gaze, that it's straight upward, to the chin, that it's neutral and not tucked in at all. In fact, it might be even slightly elevated. That the pressure is against the mat through the back of the head, against the mat through the back of the shoulders, the back side of the shoulder, into the mat through the back side of the elbow. So your whole upper arm is working here. And your feet are engaged in pressing down to create another lift. And then finally, bring the inner thighs to
towards each other like a magnet. Keep holding bridge. We're steady here for another minute. So I know this is a long time. Didn't warn you, but I want you to stay in it. Okay. We're staying here for a longer period of time. If your glutes get tired, relax the glutes and squeeze the inner thigh. Oh, did you even know that was possible? Yes, of course. And then a slight engagement of the heels pulling back, so your hamstrings have that engagement. Slight engagement of the hamstring by pressing into the earth, pulling the heels back. Hold, I've got about 20 seconds. 20 seconds, yeah, you can do it. Breathe in, breathe out, hold steady. And notice how light and fluid the spine is. Like all the way from the sacrum up to the crown of the head, no part of the spine is on the ground. We want to memorize that for our shoulder stand. Let's go ahead and release the hips back down. Give it a little roll side to side with the head and the neck. Make sure you're not building tension there. And now we'll take the block, slide it underneath the hips. So we get to release the hips on the block. Oh, that just feels really good. Press into the upper arm, the back of the head, all the way into the shoulders. So we keep that lift of the heart towards the chin. And then just draw the navel in, lifting the legs, knees over hips, and then feet over the hips. So if your knees are bent, they may well be forward, but the heels are in a plumb line with the hips. So don't be out here. That's going to put a lot of pressure on your hip flexors, and we want to release them. Release them, bring the heels over the hips, no matter how bent your knees are. And we definitely want to straighten them as much as possible. So if it's possible to straighten, go ahead and straighten. Supported shoulder stand. Again, another posture we want to hold for a little bit of time. We're almost halfway there. Keep your gaze at your toes. If you have shoulder stand in your practice, you may want to pick up the hips and place the hands behind the hips for support. Again, where can I find support? Where can I support myself? How can I support myself? How do I allow others to support me? Bring the inner thighs are hugging towards center line. Even if you're if you're in supported or you're in this version of shoulder stand, whatever version you're in is perfect. And of course, there's halasana as an option as well. And when we come out, we're going to bring the hips back down gently to the block if they're not already. We'll bend the knees and bring the feet be flat on the floor one at a time. Let's remove the block and keep the hips elevated. Bring your arms underneath, straighten the arms, plug the shoulder blades back underneath you, and then lower the hips onto the wrist. We're going to straighten the leg. We're coming into fish. Straighten the legs, and now we're sitting on our hands, right? So sitting on the hands, palms are down, touching the floor. And then I'm going to make a bold move, and it's a lifting of the heart, pressing the head up and back, and the forearms are now supporting me. So I could lift all the way off, and I'm supported by the arms. And then if I bring the head gently to the mat, there's a little support there from the crown of the head, but not much. Very light touch. The palms are on the ground. In fish or any version that's for you, keep your gaze upward. And when you're ready, tuck the chin, bend the knees and release the arms. Crossing the right ankle over the left, draw the knees. This will be the first real hip. Oh my goodness, stretch.
feeling that very strongly. Let's be purposeful in really opening up that right hip. Straighten the left leg. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Taking it into half happy baby. We'll guide the right foot to the sky and allow the left leg to simply float to the earth. Half happy baby. There can be a pretty good bend in the left knee. That's helpful. Extend the right leg out. You're going to hold underneath the calf like a pedestal. Guide the ankle back across the left thigh and then gently drop the knees over to the left. A nice easy spinal twist. Breathe in, breathe out. Very well done. Let's do the second side, coming back to center. Cross left ankle over the right, draw the knee in. And through the eye of the needle, you'll thread your left hand and clasp behind the knee. Let your shoulders relax, let your jaw relax. So if you're building tension in these final postures, it's going to be counterproductive. We want to release the tension. And the first part of that is like noticing that we are clenching our teeth and then relaxing and breathing. Half happy baby. We're going to guide the left foot towards the sky as you bend the right knee and just place the foot on the floor. Alternatively, for those of you who have really open hamstrings and are excited about this, you could straighten the right leg. Okay, so it would just be a matter of pressing the heel forward. If that's not exciting, or it's too much excitement, like you're really feeling the intensity of that, come back to the bent leg. Honor your own process and journey, because you are the only one that can fulfill it, not anyone else. You're not trying to fill someone else's journey. So extend the left leg. And then guide the ankle over the thigh. Gently bring the knees across in a nice, easy spinal twist to the right. Arms in goalpost. Head relaxed. And I really, at this point, like to roll the head side to side so I can really find any tension that might be residing and just allow it to dissipate. Come back to center and then fix a comfortable, take a comfortable lying down opportunity to really relax and integrate the work that you've done. Shavasana. Allow the legs to relax and possibly the feet rotate open. It feels heavy to your hip flexors or tight. Then the invitation is to bend the knees and then bring the knees together, the feet a little wider. And that reduces the pressure in the low back. It also relieves the hip flexor from any rotational duties. But you find what works best for you. I'm going to stay here in the TP Shavasana for another 2 minutes. Let's just release and relax. And honor yourself and give gratitude for the 65, 70 minutes you come here and show up and do the work on your mat, build strength, build support, build a relationship that's unshakable. You build a bond in your own self-confidence that shines the rest of the day, weeks and months. Just really the purpose of yoga is to bring us to a better understanding and knowing of who we are. And regardless of the pitfalls and our own humanity, that we love ourselves unconditionally. That may be perhaps the hardest asana of all, or yogic energy to embrace and embody. To love unconditionally is to accept our humanity, our frailties, not to condone or be complacent, but to accept where we're at and move forward from there. Deepen your in-breath. Gently and slowly come to a seated position as you draw the knees in and roll to one side. Bringing hands again to heart center, interlaced at the heart, palms to the heart. Vajra Pradama, unshakable trust mudra. You've got this. I am here now, steady, strong, supported. Ready for the day. Bring the hands to your heart center. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your practice. And I want to acknowledge your strength and your inner beauty. Namaste.